Good afternoon, and welcome to this short webinar kind of overview of our program here at Michigan State University in the Forestry Department. We offer the Graduate Certificate in Forest Carbon Science Policy and Management, and this session today will provide an overview of the program and hopefully answer some of your questions and answer some of the questions that come up for us frequently. A couple of technical details before we go forward. This webinar is being recorded and it will be made available on the Forest Carbon and Climate Program website, so it will be a reference going forward. If you experience any technical issues, feel free to send us an email at forestc@msu.edu and we'll be able to respond promptly, and that's also your contact for the program anytime going forward, so please feel free to reach out to us. And you'll see our website here on the screen, but if you just Google the Forest Carbon and Climate Program or the Graduate Certificate at MSU Forestry, the Forest Carbon Graduate Certificate, you'll be able to find us pretty easily on the web. So we have a feature here for a Q&A. We have this scheduled for, we're thinking that this is going to be less than 60 minutes today. But we will save questions for the end. So I'm going to kind of move quickly through some of the overview. And you can ask questions at any time by submitting them through the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. And we'll collect the questions throughout the presentation and then address them at the end. And if we are unable to answer all questions, we can post any outstanding questions or any questions that we get maybe right after the webinar that we think would be useful for everyone. We can post those to our website as well. So to get started here, we'll give a brief overview of the Forest Carbon and Climate Program and how the Graduate Certificate fits into our program's overall mission. And then we'll review the Graduate Certificate's course, the course instructors, required coursework, and the curriculum. We'll also introduce you to the method of online course delivery. This is an all online program, so you can participate from anywhere in the world. And we'll do a quick overview on the admissions requirements, as we do tend to get a lot of questions in that. And we'll also give a little overview on the financial aspects of the program as well. So to start up, the Forest Carbon and Climate Program was established in 2012. And our main offering, the Graduate Certificate Program, it began at that same time, and that was really the beginning of some of our professional development and online learning efforts in this space. That was the first academic offering and was established to equip participants with interdisciplinary tools and the conceptual background to plan, implement, manage, and evaluate forestry-based climate change mitigation projects. The certificate does have a global focus, so we get a wide range of folks from around the world. And we're happy to work with you to accommodate time differences and those types of challenges. And we get a wide range of vocations as well. So 44% of our participants were internationally located internationally, and most folks are able to complete the program part-time, and you are able to take just one course at a time. So it is very flexible and appropriate for working professionals. We are continually updating our content, and we're very responsive to trends in this space. Anyone who works in this space knows that there's a lot of changes that are still happening. It's an exciting place to work in, and you'll see that reflected in the course content. And then finally, we are responsive to participant feedback, and we have a structured feedback program or component to our program. And so there's always an opportunity to hear from people that are engaged in our learning content, so we can always continually improve. For professionals, the certification itself provides an edge in competing for opportunities in forest carbon project development, REDD+ policy and policy implementation, and carbon offset investment advising. So we see folks from governments, corporations, NGOs, landowners. So there's quite a mix of perspectives in the classroom. The participants in the program learn the scientific foundations of climate change and forest-climate interactions, how forest management affects forest carbon balance, the ins and outs of forest carbon markets, the social context of forest carbon sequestration, and tools for measuring, monitoring, and accounting for forest carbon. These are the current instructors for the program. I'm Lauren Cooper, so I am the coordinator for the program, and I also instruct one of the courses in the spring semester. We also have Dr. Runsheng Yin, who teaches in the fall, and Dr. David Skoll. There are 3 required courses, and these include Forestry 833, which is the course that I teach, Human Dimensions of Forest Carbon Management. Forestry 835 is Forest Carbon Policy, Economics, and Finance. And Forestry 837, Measurements and Monitoring of Forest Carbon. And that's instructed by Dr. Dave Skoll, and Dr. Runsheng Yin instructs Forestry 835. In the Human Dimensions course, we examine values associated with trees and forests relative to economic and ecological benefits prioritized by the international community, with a special emphasis on forest carbon. So this is a really dynamic and interdisciplinary course. It covers everything from policy to decision-making, and it includes a wide range of topics that relate to human communities and the relationships with forests, and how these play out in the forest carbon realm. So we cover everything from identifying actors on the landscape, applying guidance and best practices, stakeholders, respect for rights and identifying beneficiaries, best practices, and monitoring of human impacts. For Forestry 835, again, this is Policy, Economics, and Finance. This provides an overview of this space, policy, economics, and finance associated with forest carbon, and offers an in-depth examination of international, regional, and national case studies. The course covers both domestic and international policy frameworks, and as well as finance and investment approaches, including private capital, multilateral development assistance, and direct foreign investment mechanisms. It covers emerging markets, such as trading schemes that are related to forests. And participants are introduced to concepts such as ecosystem services and valuation, economic development, livelihoods, and sustainability. And the third course is Forestry 837, Measurements and Monitoring of Forest Carbon. This is a skills-based training course in forest carbon inventory and carbon accounting methods. It includes both national and international monitoring of forest carbon stocks, developing carbon projects, reporting on emissions, and the verification process. So this does run a wide scale of everything from national level contributions to the international agreements to project development considerations. And so some of the specific course topics that are covered here include emissions trading methodologies and programs, carbon accounting fundamentals and some of the differences between some of the key programs, carbon allometry and field data collection, remote sensing basics, and covers a number of case studies. And then we also want to introduce an overarching project that cuts across all 3 courses. And this is a project design document which has been tailored specifically to this graduate certificate program. It cuts across the 3 courses, and you're able to develop it in whole if you take all 3 courses, and we consider it a portfolio piece that's developed. And this project design document is a tool that's commonly used in forest carbon project development to compile and assemble the various elements essential to implementing a project. It includes topics like methods, stakeholder engagement, economic considerations, biodiversity, carbon measurements, and monitoring plans. Depending if you only take one course, which you are encouraged to do if you don't have a need to take all 3 courses, we welcome participation in a single course. And if that's the case, you will still use this tool in one of the courses. And it's also useful even if you don't complete all the courses, because you can see how the topics intersect and see how what you're learning in one course fits into some larger topics, even if they're not covered in that course. So again, wanted to introduce you to a tool that we utilize throughout the program. Upon completion of the graduate certificate, you will receive a hard copy by mail. You will also be able to access your transcript from MSU. So these are transcriptable courses, meaning that you'll have a transcript with MSU. And your transcript will be able to show the courses that you completed. These are regular master's level courses. So for example, for our master's students or graduate students here within MSU, they're able to double count the courses towards their degrees. And if you were to continue into a graduate level program, you may be able to count some of these courses towards your requirements. We are a Tier 1 research institution in the United States. We also want to highlight that we have a growing alumni group that we communicate with in the Forest, Carbon, and Climate program. This is a group that encompasses graduate certificate graduates, as well as other professionals that interact with our programming, including training and other types of engagement. The intention of this group is to stay connected to the growing and changing knowledge base, while also providing or sharing professional opportunities, work opportunities, and best practices, and important new publications. The geographic location of the cohort is also tracked and shared in case there's really useful regional or country level connections for those that are located in different parts of the world. And finally, as mentioned earlier, we do actively seek feedback from participants in the program. And these are, so once you complete the program or in any of the courses, you can expect to be asked some questions about your experience and where you think there could be improvements, and share what you liked about the courses as well. We want to introduce you a little bit to the online learning. I think a lot of us have had opportunities to experience some type of online learning now, but a lot of times these are quite different. So, and if you haven't at all, we wanted to just maybe take some of the mystery away of what online learning looks like. We use a system called, it's called Desire to Learn, or Brightspace, and it's an advanced online learning platform. And pictured here is the homepage where you would log in to access your courses using a login information provided by MSU. And here's an example of a homepage that's included here. You'll be able to access all your course files, assignments, and forums within your course to connect with your professor and peer learners in this space. And you'll also be able to see your graded assignments and receive feedback from the professor. And we also have included links to additional university resources. So if you're involved in the graduate certificate program, you have access to a lot of additional materials that are available through the university here, including library access and other types of training. Typically, the delivery is recorded video lectures, and so these can be viewed at the learner's own pace. And one of the benefits for this as well is, again, as we mentioned, we have a international community, so it's pretty tricky to schedule live events, even though sometimes we do have some live meetings to offer the opportunity to engage. But typically the lectures are made available so that you can work through them when you have time. And for those in areas with unstable internet connections, we do provide downloadable lectures with embedded audio. So you can download them at a time where the internet is working well, and still enjoy them with a similar viewing experience with the rest of your class. We want to now transition into a brief overview of the admissions process, because we get a lot of questions in this space. So the basic requirement to the program is a bachelor's degree. We are designed to be an interdisciplinary program. We do not require any specific science background. We welcome all sorts of backgrounds, and our mission is to get folks, professionals from a variety of backgrounds able to come together on this topic and understand all the major parts. So the core background is a bachelor's degree, but you need to submit a transcript verifying the award of your 4-year undergraduate degree with the equivalent of a bachelor's of arts or science. And this cannot be submitted by the applicant. This has to come directly from your institution. So these have to be what we call official transcripts. So a lot of universities now can share these with us through email, but we still will get an email from the institution and have to go in and collect that directly. If you are an international applicant, we do need a hard copy of your transcript. So please keep this in mind. This can be a bit of a challenge and it can take a little bit of time, but we can waive the requirement for applicants that have earned master's or PhD degrees. So sometimes it's the case that somebody earned a bachelor's degree in their home country, but is now maybe in the United States and has a PhD. We can work with you to just get your most recent transcript. And we also can work with you to develop more flexible timelines, so we can get a temporary admission if we're waiting for your transcript to come, because sometimes it does take a while from international institutions particularly. So please reach out to us if you have questions about that, and we're happy to work with you. You'll need to create an online application. So this all happens online. There's a link on our website that says apply now, and you go through the main application process through the university. And so we'll be sending out this link and additional instructions in an email for everyone that signed up today, just so that you can find it easily. For applicants that are located internationally, it does require a TOEFL score or a TOEFL waiver. There are countries, and this is only applicable for international students, and there's a list of countries where English is the first language and you won't be required to do this. But we also do work closely with people who are able to show that they have extensive training or professional experience in English and are able to arrange a waiver. So that's what we mean by a TOEFL waiver there as well. So if you want to inquire about a waiver, please feel free to reach out to us and we can see if you're eligible for that and begin the process for you. And then finally, there's an application fee. So we have it, and this goes to the university. It's not something that we have control over. So any submission of the online application requires an application fee, and the fee is $65 for domestic students and $75 for international. And once you've paid the fee, you will be assigned a student identification number, and then we'll need that ID number to secure a TOEFL waiver and enroll you in coursework and the like. So just please consider that a first step. For fees and funding, fees are on a per credit hour basis because these are graduate level courses. So again, this is, you can find this information on the Michigan State University website. These are standard costs for at the graduate level across the university. So the certificate's 3 courses, each consist of 3 credit hours. So the graduate program is a total of 9 credit hours, and it's 3 credit hours per course. So your residency status is only differentiated as either a Michigan resident or a non-Michigan resident. So there's no higher costs if you're an international student versus somebody in the rest of the United States. And just wanted to share these costs with you. So the total is, you can see in the first column is tuition per credit hour, and then it goes to per course because there are 3 credits per course. And then if you took all 3 courses, that's what your total fees would amount to. We do offer a department scholarship. We have 2 funding sources available. So we have a department scholarship and also a Weyerhaeuser fellowship. And so we want to make you aware of these. Applications are open for the department scholarship during both fall and spring semesters. We'll be accepting applications for spring 2019, the department scholarship, through December 15th. So please go to our website for a little more information on what that includes. It's not a very big climb to submit to that, so we welcome your application. The Weyerhaeuser Fellowship is only available in the fall, so additional details regarding the application deadline for the 2019 and 2020 academic year will be released in early 2019. So if you're interested in that, just make sure that you're on our email list, and we'll send information out about that. We've also created a funding toolkit, which details our available funding opportunities, in addition to other external methods for searching for funding, how to maybe navigate an employee sponsorship or use your professional development funds, and also about tax benefits, even though those are, I think, only related to US residents. But the document also includes some facts and talking points that could be helpful when creating a grant application, or discussing the opportunity with your employer. So to receive this tool, please email us at forestry@msu.edu, and we'd be happy to send that along. And finally, here's some more important contact information. Again, I'm Lauren Cooper. I'm the Forest Carbon and Climate Program Director, and you've probably already interacted with Lauren Lucas, who is the assistant to the program, and can help answer questions with admissions and enrollment. So please feel free to email us at forestc@msu.edu, or you can email me directly at ltcooper@msu.edu, particularly if you are an organization and would like to discuss the possibility of having some type of training or this type of program for your employees. And if you reach out to us with questions anytime, we're happy to, we can get back to you pretty quickly. And we also would like to alert you to the Q&A again. So if you have questions right now, we are happy to take a look and answer any questions that you might have. Sometimes Zoom is a little funny, and your options menu bar will kind of go away on you. So if you don't see it anymore, just take your mouse and hover at the top or the bottom of the screen, and your options should come up there. And so thank you so much for your time and attention. Again, we will be posting this, and now we'll answer a couple of questions. So we have, oh, Lauren's already answering some of the, or you're just sending these, Lauren? Okay. So we have a couple of questions here. We have, how much time should I estimate to spend on my course? So these are run on the semester. So these, just to give you a sense of how long in duration, these start on US semester schedule. So fall semester starts usually the last week of August and runs until about usually the first week of December into the second week of December. The spring semester starts probably the second week of January and runs until the very end of April into the first week of May. If you want to see the academic calendar, you can Google academic calendar Michigan State University and get the exact start dates. As far as your personal time, we estimate, it depends. It is up to you as far as how deeply you want to get into all of the other readings. At the graduate level at the university, they recommend probably about 4 to 6 hours per course per week. And that's the full extent of the content that's made available to you. So that includes reading, suggested reading materials. So you could take a lot of time exploring those in a lot of depth. But as busy professionals, that may not be realistic, and that certainly wouldn't be required for you to have an enjoyable learning experience and do well in the course. So I think you could reasonably go anywhere from 2 to 6 hours, depending on what topics you are most interested in. And sometimes we have, like we mentioned, we have folks coming from a wide range of backgrounds. So some of the content you may find, oh, I'm pretty comfortable with this. I'm not going to spend as much time on this week, but have a different week that you are really interested in or is directly applicable to your job. And that's the week that you spend 4.5 hours reading material and going over the lectures. So there's some flexibility there, but we do keep in mind that there are professionals in this program. So we don't expect you to maybe have as much time to put in as a traditional graduate student. Another question that we got here is, does it matter if I start in the fall versus the spring? And the answer is no. And in fact, sometimes sometimes it can be better to start in the spring if you're going just one course per semester, because we have one course that we offer in the fall and 2 in the spring. So if you start in the spring, you can take one of the spring courses and then take a fall course and then take the other spring course, and you don't have a long gap. You have the summer off. However, if you were comfortable taking 2 courses in the spring, you could start in September and have the whole thing done by the following May. So there's some flexibility there. And we also have people that take a break semester as well for whatever reason. They don't, they need a little extra time. So there's some flexibility there, and we're happy to talk to you individually about what makes sense for your schedule, but it really doesn't matter. And we tend to get most working professionals taking just one course per semester. Yeah. So I have a question here, but I'm not sure that I understand the question. Fernando, could you clarify what your question is here? While I wait for clarification. So Fernando, I'm not understanding your question. Are you asking, I'm not sure what the question is. Can you just ask the question one more time? Okay, I'm going to go to, while you do that, I will move to one other question that we have here. One is, are there any required textbooks for the program? And there are not. So everything that you need to read is made available to you. As I mentioned, there are additional, we'll call them sort of benefits to being affiliated with the university. And we have a wonderful library and endless online materials. So the materials that we provide in the program are either available directly to you, like we already have downloaded them and make them available for you in the online learning platform, or they're accessible to you for free through the library. So you do not need to purchase anything else for the program. So it looks like we may have answered all of the questions for now. And again, if you have outstanding question, we are available by email, so please don't hesitate to reach out. And we will post any other additional questions that come that we think are broadly relevant. We can post those in a Word document, kind of a Q&A doc, to follow up with, and so you can check them out on our website. So I think if that's it, I don't think we have anything outstanding. Again, we're going to record this and make it available along with a couple of links on our website, and just reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a great weekend, and take care.